Hello everybody and welcome back to another Rockabilly guitar lesson. Summer has finally arrived here in northern Germany and that puts me in the mood for some California Rockabilly. This was also a request from Timothy and he wanted to know how to play the solo in I Gotta Know by Wanda Jackson, which features the amazing guitar work of Joe Maphis. This is my favorite Wanda Jackson song, so I was very glad to answer this request. Here we go. For the best learning experience, I highly recommend that you check out my Patreon page, where you get exclusive offers, infos, gem tracks and tabs as an addition to the free videos here on YouTube. I Gotta Know by Wanda Jackson is in the key of D, and the solo is played over two 12-bar blues progressions. In the first part we do some finger picking, and then the second part we play some hot Joe Maphis licks. Yeah. So the first two bars sounds like this. It starts with a slide from the 5th to the 10th fret, low E string, and I use my index and I'm holding my E shape bar chord already. So once we arrive on the 10th fret, it's a D chord, of course, and in the bass I will alternate between the E and the D string. It sounds like this. And I'm muting the strings here with my right hand, just behind the bridge, yeah? And I want to hit the G string as well, so I can use it in the melody. And then with my fingers of the right hand, I pull the E and the B string, and I just use two notes here, the 10th fret on the E string, and the 12th fret, which is taken by the pinky on the B string. So let's put it together and play it slowly, the first two bars. One more time. And then in bars 3 and 4 you do exactly the same. Just at the end you add the 10th fret B string, yeah? And then you slide back to the 3rd fret on the low E string. Because then the chord progression moves to G, and of course the 3rd fret here, E shape, this is a G chord. And for G you play just playing the B string in the melody on the 6th, 5th and 3rd fret. In the bass, just like before, alternating between the E and the D string, and that goes for the whole first part of the solo, except for the slides. So what we got so far is this. Slide again to the 10th fret. And then the chord progression moves to A, and you slide from the open E string. You pick the open E string and then you slide with your index to the 5th fret. Something like this, yeah. For the E, for the A, I'm sorry. And for A you play 5th fret E string, 7th fret B string. Then you slide from the open E string to the 3rd fret, and that's a quick slide. And the same pattern as for the A chord, yeah? And then with a quick slide, you slide to the 10th fret again. And you play the same thing that you played in the first 2 bars. So here's the whole first part of the solo, played slowly. The second part of the solo starts here on the 7th fret, and the first phrase goes like this. A pretty long phrase, I know. And I really think it's much easier to follow with the tabs, which you can find on my Patreon channel. But I try my best to explain it, or explaining is really hard here because it's kind of confusing. It's just basically 3 notes, but we get to that. So we start here on the 7th fret D string. Then we play 9 and 7. Yeah, 9 on the D string, 7 on the G string. And by the way, I have my index flat on the D, G, and B string because we will use all 3 strings here for the solo on the 7th fret. And Joe Maphis will play almost all the time string pairs, yeah, double stops. So one more time, let's do the first 2 bars here. So you just use 3 notes. 9th and 7th fret D and G string, 7th fret B and G string, and 10 G together with the 7th fret on the B string for the dissonant sound. And I always use a little bending here on the 10th fret. One more time, this part. And a little slower. And then the next part. Now let's put the first 4 bars together. You can view the video over and over, and eventually you'll get it. Then the chord progression moves to G, and you start with a pickup on the D string, 7, 8 to 9. And then you want to put your middle finger onto the 8th fret B string. This comes from the C shape here, which is a G chord on the 7th fret. So let's play the next part. Let's play it over the G chord. One more time. I will play the 9th fret here on the D string by itself. Yeah, let's do this again. And then the next part. This is again played over the D chord. Yeah, let's do this again. So let's play everything we have so far, the second part of the solo. And then the chord progression moves to A and you play starting with a 10th fret B string together with an open E string, 11 to 9 on the G string, 10 B string, 11 G string again, back to 10 on the B string with an open E string, and you finish with an open B string just to get to the next position here. And then the next part. Tenth fret, 12, 10, 13, 12, 10, and then 11 on the G string together with a 10th fret on the B string. Then 10 again, and let's do the finishing run. So you start with the 10th fret, E and B string, and then you go chromatically down from the 13th to the 10th fret. And then you play double stops, always the 12th, 11th and 10th fret on the B and G string, D and G string, A and D string, and then the E and A string. The whole last part here. And that's it for the solo. Now I will play the whole solo for you at 100 beats per minute to the metronome. 1, 2, 3.